Thanks for coming to my channel. It's your boy Young Rels, and welcome to Nuff Said Takes, where we go ahead and we break down these shows and episodes, and we try to relay them back in the way that we see fit. All right, guys. Today, I'm bringing you another video. Season 1, Episode 10 of House of Dragons. And this is going to be a special one. This is the season finale, okay? Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, guys, so the episode does starts off with Rhaenyra and Lucerys, who everyone likes to call Luke. Lucerys is wondering if he should be the Lord of Driftmark because he kind of feels some way about Lord Strong in that whole, is he the blood of Laenor? Rhaenyra walks in and basically assures him, it doesn't matter. You are here now. And you're going to be the Lord of Driftmark. You got to take care of that, and that's going to be your title. You know, it's nothing that you can do. It was given to you by birth. And as they are going in and, you know, talking about that, and the servant tells her that Rhaenys has appeared and needs her attention immediately. And it's Rhaenyra, Rhaenys, and Daemon. And Daemon is called it as well because this information is very important. Now, Rhaenys comes in and lets them know, hey, listen, I just came from King's Landing. We got a couple of issues going on right now, and I need you guys to know that they crowned Aegon as king in front of everybody as Lord of the Seven Kingdoms and has basically usurped you over the throne, Rhaenyra, and it hit Rhaenyra hard. Daemon is upset because he's wondering about his brother's death and, of course, the fact that they stole Rhaenyra's birthright from her. Now, immediately when she receives that information, what happens is that she goes into this, I would say early labor maybe, but everything seemed to be fine until she heard the news. And then bam, as soon as she heard the news, that baby said, I need out of here. Meanwhile, everybody's coming in to go ahead and see what's going on with Rhaenyra as she's having the baby. And Daemon is off plotting the future war that he knows is going to happen. Daemon is kind of gathering all of the lords in the Dragon Keep so that they can go ahead and converse about what is going on at King's Landing and how they're going to go ahead and figure that out. As Rhaenyra is having the baby, Lucerys and Jacaerys are actually summoned to the room, and I would say mid-birth was informed that Aegon has usurped the throne and most likely there will be a war and there needs to be something done. Now, Rhaenyra is in the middle of having a baby while she's doing this. She's talking to them and saying, hey, Aegon stole your birthright. We need to go figure something out. And screaming at the same time while having a baby. So the baby's being pushed. She pushes that baby out. And, you know, unfortunately, the baby became a stillborn baby, just like in the books. If you guys are familiar, man, the show is really doing a good job at, you know, following the books and keeping on track with that kind of stuff. You know, at the same time, it's very important that they do that because everybody loves the books and the way the storyline is. And yeah, she did have the baby when she heard that news in the books, and she had that baby and it died. So, you know, that kind of pushed a lot of people to the edge because they feel like that news probably killed the baby, and most likely it did. Now, meanwhile, you know, like I said, everybody is frantic right now. Everybody's worrying about what's going to happen. Are they going to be attacked? Is there going to be war? Who's going to be their bannerman? But before all that happens, they mourn the baby. They mourn the child that was born and died. And then they have a ceremony. They bring the baby, just like everybody else who dies in the families. You know, they have ceremony for that person. And it shows that, you know, they respect the dead. Now, after that, we do get a image of what is going to happen. And it begins with Otto Hightower coming back to Dragonstone to relay the message of Aegon being king. Also letting Rhaenyra know that she needs to bend the knee and basically respect the throne of succession as of right now. And the way that it's going is, it seems like, you know, Rhaenyra's not with it at all. She's gonna have a lot to say about it in the future. But at the same time, she's also thinking about keeping the realm safe. Like, she doesn't really want to go to war and kill many, many lives. But at the same time, it's not right what they did. So everything is coming together. After the mourning of the child, we get some good news that Corlys is actually okay, and he's gonna be on his way to Dragonstone where Rhaenys is, so they can go ahead and figure out what's going on. Now, just like in the books, they plan to see who can they have as their bannerman. Everybody who pledged to Rhaenyra, they expect them to be there for her. Just like in the books, she expects her bannermen to rally behind her. Now, she does know of a few houses that might not do that. So she wants to go ahead and basically figure out if those houses are going to be under her side. And she needs those houses simply because they're very powerful houses in the show, which will be in the Baratheons and, of course, Storm's End. Now, they need those because they're very powerful areas and locations and houses. So it makes sense that they would try to go ahead and figure out if they're going to be on their side or not. Now, there is a lot of stress on Rhaenyra. She's the queen. She actually has been crowned the queen by one of the twins who was having an issue in the last episode with his brother. Now, the thing about that is it seems like he had stolen the crown. Once again, just like in the books, he actually did steal the crown, escaped to Dragonstone to actually give Rhaenyra the crown in the books. But in this case, like, it actually happened. So I'm assuming when he was breaking Rhaenys out, he already had the crown and just took off to Dragonstone when they got lost. But the most important thing is that he actually stole the crown and crowned Rhaenyra on Dragonstone as the true queen of the Seven Kingdoms. This, of course, does happen in the books, like I said, and it's a very important part because now that she has a crown on her head, people can see that, and she can also go ahead and, reign as a queen with no issues. The only problem is Aegon on the throne at King's Landing being a usurper. Now, the most important thing I think about this episode was the part where Rhaenyra and Daemon are having issues with each other because Rhaenyra wants to keep the realm safe and not go to war at this point. And Daemon is just like, what in the world are you talking about? They're begging for war. So Daemon wants to go to war. Rhaenyra is kind of reluctant. So there was a scene where they would go into the throne room and have a conversation. And of course, the temper of Daemon takes over. Rhaenyra lets him know, hey, did Viserys ever tell you about the Song of Ice and Fire? He cares not of any suspicions or none of that. He wants the Iron Throne for her and him, and he sees what's in front of him. And, he's more of a person that wants to grab things as he sees it. And she's more of an idealistic person. So they definitely didn't connect on that. And he ended up choking her. He ended up grabbing her by the neck because he was upset with the decision of her not really wanting to go to war. This is your throne. And if you don't want to fight for it, then, it's going to make him upset. So it's his throne too. He could be the king. And why wouldn't he want to go ahead and fight for it? So, and plus he comes up with amazing strategies in the throne room with all those people and all those dragons he mentioned. He was correct. They have more dragons. They should have the upper hand. So it shouldn't be an issue. Now, like I said in one of my other videos, I really do love when Corlys and Rhaenys are on the screen, man. I love these two characters. Probably my favorite characters on the show, honestly, to be honest with you. And like I said, they're not like super big characters, but they play their parts so well. I love Rhaenys and I love Corlys. Amazing crew, amazing couple, and they do the show justice. Now, like I said, Corlys is on his deathbed coming back. And Rhaenys has been there missing him for 6 years as he was gone. So Rhaenys is letting Corlys know that, listen, man, this isn't a joke. You kind of ruined our family by going after the throne, and now you're going to ruin our family by going after this war. But they have no choice. Their families are tied into it. I mean, it makes nothing but sense for them to be on Rhaenyra's side. And that's exactly what happens. They go ahead and they make that decision and they join Rhaenyra. And it's important that they stay on that side. And it seems to be like that. Corlys joins Rhaenyra with all of his fleet, and he also lets them know that they own the Narrow Seas and they shut down the Stepstones and they own it. So that's really good news for them. They can really do, just like in the books, put a blood choke on King's Landing and all of the stuff that ships to their ports. This is where the episode kind of takes a major turn. And I really respect the way they did everything. I love the way they set up everything. And to be honest with you, they got it down packed down to the books, man. And it's really good to see that because, the book is, like I said, is a really good book. And the way they write it in the books is wonderful. They did change a few things throughout the season, but nothing too serious to the point where it damaged the show. As a matter of fact, if anything, it made it better. So in this setup, they basically go ahead and, like I was explaining earlier before about the two houses that they really need to go ahead and get under their wing, which is House Baratheon and, of course, Island of Storm's End. Meanwhile, while they're talking about this, they know that they have dragons that they can fly there faster. Well, at least Jacaerys goes ahead and offers his dragon riding abilities to go ahead to get to these places a lot faster. And also, they wanted to go ahead and get to the House Stark as well, which is also in the books. They really did need to go ahead and mention that, which is very important. I'm glad they did. Now, as for that, so they lined up Jacaerys and Lucerys to actually fly to these different locations and try to get these people who are loose bannermen under their banners again. And it seemed like a good idea. But like I said, man, as a book reader, it's very important to know where this direction is going. And they set it up very nice, like I said. So they take off. They basically take off. Luke goes his way, Jace goes his way. And actually, Meleys and Rhaenys also go to Harrenhal and actually try to, set up shop so they can go ahead and get as many bannermen, like I said. So they focus on Luke, man. They focus on Luke and his journey to Storm's End, which was not that far away, like Rhaenyra said. Just go ahead. Don't go as any fighter. Don't go as a soldier. Just go as a messenger, and they won't harm you at all. That's what expected as a dragon rider. So as he goes there, flying through Storm's End, of course, it's called Storm's End. It's stormy, it's rainy, it's Storm's End. And he lands, finally gets there, and he looks to the side and he sees it. He sees Vhagar, the biggest dragon that he knows of right now. And he knows who the dragon rider is. As he walks in, he does see my boy Aemon. One-Eye Aemon. Aemon has gotten to the Baratheons before him. And what makes it really interesting is that the Baratheons are supposed to be related to Luke by blood. He just didn't seem to care. He was very upset with when Luke came in or how young he was. I don't know what he was upset about. But he definitely wanted some kind of exchange in order to go ahead and be on the side of Rhaenyra, which Aemon had already gone ahead and offered him something like marriage and things like that. So when Lucerys came there, he had nothing to offer but what Rhaenyra wanted, and it upset the Baratheons. He told Luke to get out of there, didn't want to hear from them, and that's when Aemon decided to turn on the heat. He said he wanted Luke's eye. He was going to go ahead and kill Luke, but instead he said he wanted his eye for what he did to him when he was a child. Because remember, Lucerys was the one who actually stabbed Aemon in the eye when he was a child. It wasn't Jace, it was actually Lucerys, the younger brother. Lucerys is still young now, and Aemon looks like a man, a grown man. So it wouldn't be fair if they fought, and he does say that in the episode. I think the most important thing is that the Baratheons basically tried to save Lucerys by stopping Aemon from actually trying to either stab Lucerys in the eye or kill him. And that was smart on the Baratheons' part. Now, as Lucerys is trying to leave and he's being escorted back to his dragon, who is a beautiful blue-red dragon. I love that dragon. It looks very nice, actually. As they take off, he looks to the side to see if he sees Vhagar again. And Vhagar is gone. And I mean gone. And I was like, yo, Aemon is fast or Vhagar is quiet. Now, with that being said, Luke takes off. He's flying through Storm's End, and it is cloudy. It's rainy. It's bad. As he's flying through, he's kind of looking around because he hears something so loud, which is Vhagar right on his tail. Right on his tail. And as a matter of fact, flying above him. And I want to go ahead and mention that they set this up in the books differently than what they set up in the episodes. And I'm gonna go ahead and explain like this. So, like in the books, like I said, they didn't really set it up the way they did in the books. In this case, it looks like the way they made it seem like in the show was tired of being like chased or hunted down. Which in this case, if you're a creature, it makes sense. A bigger creature's chasing you. It looks like you're getting hunted down. Yes. So I don't know what made them do this because it makes it seem like the dragon riders have no control over their dragons. But at the same time, I could understand that for Vhagar. It's a little difficult to explain. My thing was is that Rex got scared and thought he could kind of like, I don't know, scare Vhagar off or blitz Vhagar or however. And we know Vhagar is to be like 200 years old, and she's a big dragon and has been in a lot of battles with other large dragons as well, and burned a lot of people. So my thing is that Vhagar has PTSD, so she wasn't with all that getting burnt in the face. It makes it look like I said these dragon riders have no control over their dragons. Aemon has been riding his dragon for 7 years plus probably, and you're telling me that can't control Vhagar? It was a little upsetting, but let's get down to the facts. Vhagar wasn't having it. Lost control of Vhagar, and Vhagar, I don't know, man. Without Aemon's decision, pulled one of the greatest sneak attacks in reptile history. And man, one chomped and of course took Lucerys with him. So R.I.P. Lucerys. And like I said, man, they made it look like it was a mistake. But in the books, man, that was not the case. In the books, Aemon wanted blood. And when they left the throne room from the Baratheon throne room, this was a straight up death in the books. And it started the war. But, you know, it doesn't matter if it was an accident, by mistake, on purpose, or anything. Regardless, a dragon was killed, and so was the son of Rhaenyra. So we have to go ahead and assume that regardless of whether if it was a mistake or not, there's definitely going to be war. And there's no way to explain that. Whether you were chasing him to scare him or anything, there's no way to explain that. So yeah, there's going to be some war. And there's going to be blood to spill. That information being taken to Daemon somehow, that's when Rhaenyra finds out. Daemon told Rhaenyra what happened to Lucerys, and she didn't look happy. And that was the end of the episode. And like I said, man, they did a really good job. Like, even the whole rewrite, they followed the books all the way into that last part of the episode. And it was amazing. And I got to say, man, this show, it continues to be great. They continue to do good things with it. And definitely got to be #1, like, right now. Out of all the shows. And the most important thing is that everybody looks like they enjoyed it. And even if you're a book reader, you had to have enjoyed it as well, because it still ended up being the same outcome, whether it was an accident or not. And the most important part is that I'm satisfied with it. I loved it. It looks like they're going to go for about 2 to 3. And I think that's just perfect. So they can go ahead and maybe start up another series. I really like what they're doing with this, and I hope that they continue in the next season. It looks like it's just going to get better and better. And of course, there's going to be more dragons next season and more story to tell, because everybody's going to know that off the death of Lucerys, it's going to be on. That was definitely my season finale episode on House of Dragons, season 1, episode 10. And I really did enjoy it, and I hope you guys did too. Once again, I think this show possibly could be better than Game of Thrones. Leave something in the comments section so we can go ahead and talk about it. That being said, like I said, man, keep following my stuff, man. I'm going to be bringing you guys more. And like I said, man, peace.